Hey guys, welcome back to the Uncle's Vlogs. Tonight I've got a very special one. We've been chatting to this guy for some time. We actually know him through Grace, who we had on the podcast the other day. They had their art exhibition, but we're here with Yuri. He's been really kind enough to bring us to where he does his magic, essentially, where he does his art, and we're gonna show that to you guys now. So guys, let's go for a little walk. Come on inside, come meet Yuri. Good. Look, I just wanted to say, firstly, thank you for, giving us your time. I know we've been talking for a couple of weeks, and I said to everyone out there that Grace, we had her on the podcast, and then you guys had your art exhibition over in PNG. I haven't spoken to Grace yet, but maybe tell us how was that experience, like going back to Moresby?
Well, I've wanted to do a show in Moresby for a while, and so it was just kind of the right time. Of course, it was independent, so we were really supercharged about, like, we need to do something. We've got kind of the means to do something. It turned out to be a lot more work than we thought. Grace was all over it, but like for me, I kind of do a lot of things I do on behalf of my group. Like, I think about my group in the village and giving them an experience. They've shown their work a lot in Australia, or not a lot, but sometimes they've been able to come here, some of them, but they've never gone and shown their work in the home country, right? And neither have I. So I was like, this is a chance we can connect with people back home, show them what we do, and one of the good things about it was connecting with students at the university, because it sort of felt like where they're kind of giving them permission to kind of do things that they never kind of thought that they could do. Like there's a lot of possibilities, and to sort of think outside of the box a bit, and also like taking work from the street where it's usually seen into a white space. White space galleries aren't always the best place, but very different for PNG people to see art displayed in that way. So it was really a rewarding experience for us, but I think that people that came really enjoyed it, and hopefully it had a lasting impact.
That's awesome, and from us looking at it over here in Brisbane, it looked like it was an amazing show. People, like, I had some of my friends who were going to the exhibition and putting up photos, and I was like, oh yeah, they're there.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to see from here, and
yeah.
For everyone that's tuning in now, where are you from? Where do you get sort of your motivation or that drive to create this art?
Well, mi magi Simbu, mi blo Yuri tribe in South Simbu. So Mama Blumi, lo Yuri tribe, Angkor clan, and Papa Blumi, Australia. But I think my father encouraged me a lot when I was young to make art. He took me to things, took me to classes. But I think like the earliest influence I had was from my bubu, my grandmother, who was a bilam maker and those sort of things. So I just can remember, like, when I was a small child, being around that a lot. But the biggest influence is basically after art school. So when I finished art school and I graduated, and I went back home and I met all my brothers in Jiwaka, and then kind of it was a time where I was almost going to stop. I was kind of like, I'm not really sure what's I don't really want to be an individual artist anymore. It's kind of not that exciting. And then they were the boys were like, we want to make stuff with with our camera, and we want to, we want to film stuff, we want to make stuff, and so it became about me kind of enabling for others to enjoy it, and for me to not be doing it alone. So that group activities, and making the shields became part of it. And when I think about like what inspires me, when people ask me that, I sort of think like, well, I always say like it's kind of a survival thing, survival. It's kind of how I survive. That's one way of looking at it. But it's also like survival of the story through making these marks, making these paintings. That's why Tribe is so proud of it, because they're like, this is our history is still growing, it's evolving, it's continuing. So when I work with the guys in the group, there's 20, 25 of them, and it's impacting their lives, and they're having great experiences coming to Australia, and maybe elsewhere as well. But it's definitely starting something again. It's energizing them, and
guys, we're we had our little chat earlier on. We've come over to see one of Yuri's great paintings, and I think this one was probably like when I walked in through the door earlier, when we came in. This one really caught my eye, not only because of the colors, but I have seen Yuri's, some of your work on social media with the shields. Plus, I can see the two men there standing, and I really want to know like what this painting is about.
Yeah, well, so this painting's going in the show that's happening in December. It's only this year that I've started painting figurative paintings, like people, stuff, with people in it. So this is like the second one I've done. Wow. So I don't plan these paintings. I kind of just build them up, and then I start seeing things. And then I'm like, oh, that sort of shape in there is going that way. So it sort of starts off very abstract, and then I kind of join things together. So I didn't plan for this to end up like this, but then I saw this sort of scene happening, and then I was like, oh, hang on, there's a shield here, there's a shield here, there's one here, and then this. So basically it's a fight scene at the end of it. So, and there's a house on fire here. So I think at the start of the year, when I was like, I want to work on figurative painting this year. So the first one I did was of Auntie Sana, and that got into the Archibald Prize. But this one is the second one I've done. It was because I was wanting to paint the mountains in our mountains in Yuri. So you have these clouds that kind of like fold around the mountains, kind of go down and around. So I was interested in that, as well as roads, so the dirt roads, footpaths and things. So I guess like just generally I work in geometry and symmetry, shapes, color. This is kind of the first time I've actually included people. So I kind of didn't really know that I could do it. They're not like detailed, photorealism paintings, but they are, representations of a fight scene. So there's one here. There's this guy kind of giving the wisa, which is great.
Yeah, he's hiding.
emceeing out. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah. Yeah. I mean, I spent a while on this, but it was enjoyable. So the other ones I'm working on are similar, but they're not as heavily painted. So I guess just because I think I'd just come back from 2 or 3 months in the village, in the mountains. So I was really looking at just the mountain sky and the cloud stuff, and I was like, I want to be able to paint that.
And are you an artist where, like, if you see something, you draw it straight away, or do you need to like take a step back? Like you can recall it, you need to imagine it, and then it'll come to you later on.
Yeah, I usually just trust my memory. I don't really write things down.
Yeah.
I sort of picture things. If it's significant enough, it will kind of come back.
Yes.
So I don't really write a lot. but you know, there are some times where I do draw like designs and stuff like that very quickly.
Yeah.
I just kind of enjoy being sometimes surprised and discovering things.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. It makes it more interesting rather than kind of already knowing what I'm going to end up with. I'll show over here.
Yeah.
These are a few. We call them calabus, because the original works that we are referencing are kind of like these. They're made in men's prison in Barawagi, and like a couple of our uncles make them pretty well. You know, wow. they've been there. So because we're a group of men, actually, you know, like most except for a couple of ladies who have come in lately, the group is all men. So it's kind of like, well, what's something that is besides shields that you can relate to, and you can you know, kind of empathize with a bit. And so, you know, with the group, you know, we started talking about these as sort of a men's form of bilum weaving. You know, it's not bilum. It doesn't represent the same things but it's a carry bag, and it's a different process. You know. It's and quite time consuming. So, and this is actually a bilum cloak here.
I didn't even. Yeah. Wow.
So that's my sister Alison's work. So she does these. There's a lot of big text works as well. So these are kind of like things that, like, Alison was really good at making bilum, and the guys, you know, started drawing back 10 years ago, you know, and same time I started like painting as well, so we all started together. But sort of like from these, like, this is sort of like things that have come up in the last couple of years that we've done, you know.
Take us through this, because this I think this was pretty interesting. Some of the you know, the ground you got from home.
So we paint shield designs and other paintings on paper with this ground. So garpa, we call it. Garpa is our word. So this is taken from one of our mountains in the village.
Wow.
So this is a white here. So you know, we have to crush it, and dry it and all that. So there's even like a so this is what I will use to paint the shield, the kulman over there. But we also do sort of just paintings with these. There's a really nice sort of maybe it's this one. Yeah. It's kind of like this. It's sort of like a, see how it's all metallic?
Yeah. Wow,
so
that's hectic.
See?
Yeah.
It's like makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that has really good effects. The only one that we don't have is like red. So the red we source from a plant.
Okay.
Yeah, a plant. We source it from a plant. I don't have any. No, I don't have any here. But so those paintings, you know, like about 80 of them are here, and we're going to show a number of them in the show as well.
Yep.
Of those paintings.
Wow.
But yeah, it's good because I think at the time it was sort of like, you know, because I take materials back to the group, right?
Yeah.
And then we buy paint, and then we buy this, and then we need that, and we need that. It's like, it's just like there's so many guys, and it's like, you know, like we got to find a way to, like, you know, like what's like the ground there. Like, can't we just try painting with that?
Yeah.
You know, it's free,
Yeah.
and it's there, and you know, so and then we were doing it, and they really enjoy it. So we've been painting less and less with store-bought stuff. You know, I kind of think one day we should learn how to make our own paper as well, do some screen printing, kind of stuff like that, printmaking. You know, I reckon that's pretty possible in the future. You know, kind of getting them skilled in these kinds of things. Because some of them are really skilled at painting, and they teach the others as well. But when it comes to like resources like paper and materials, and you kind of like going back and forth to the hardware store and they don't really have much, and it's really super expensive. And so I'm kind of more leaning towards like let's start making things from our own material, from our own resources.
All right, guys, we've had a tour of Yuri's, space, but I think one of the biggest things that is really exciting us is that he's got a show coming up here in a couple of weeks, on December 6th of December. Yep. But I guess we wanted to just ask you, what's what's coming up? Well, why are you having the exhibition, and what can people expect?
Okay, so I I show here with Milani Gallery in West End. My studio is right here next to the gallery. Um, so my last show here was 2 years ago, and so this one is. I mean, I've been basically learning to paint as I go. Like I was never taught how to paint. I actually have a bachelor in photography. So yeah, then I went to the village, and then all this stuff happened. So so I'm just kind of extending like my painting. I'm kind of like I want to try this. I want to try this. Like I mean, you look through my book. Like there's a lot of different stuff in there, and so here I'm just trying to work on painting, but storytelling, and it's mostly PNG village sort of focus, really. Like some of my other work is it's all over the place, a lot of different, sometimes Australian stuff and whatever. But this is very much like me thinking about situations at home. Um, you know, um, so there's sort of a bit of a sort of a power thing at play, a bit of um, uh, a lot of custom involved in this kind of work, and kind of also just uh, Houseman language and secret stuff, like in this. But I think that the thing that I've done with all of my shows here is I've given space to my group. So it's my show, but then it's also I've got work from the group in it as well. So we're having a sort of a double show. So I'm bringing a lot of new work from the group, the Haus Yuriyal group, that we'll be showing, and I think I don't know. Like I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's kind of the most I've really pushed myself here because, like, even some of the work I'm making out of the blind, the pit blind, and painting that as well. Um, so when sometimes I think now I'm more actually just concerned about, if my people like it, and even though I'm not with them right now, I'm just kind of communicating with them through this work. So I'm kind of thinking about my people back home when I'm making this work. So we have, I have all these sorts of new paintings, and it's mostly a painting show. We're also going to have an event on the 6th of December. That's a Saturday, probably in the mid afternoon. We usually have kai, like we've had pigs here before, and everybody eats, and there's bilim market and all that sort of stuff. So we haven't planned that much for this one, but I think it'll just sort of it'll happen organically. I mean, I've already got a friend who's DJing. So the next step there'll be a live band, because we've had live bands here as well before. And then there's also a group show that's happening consecutively downstairs. It's the end of the year. We kind of just, it's kind of our Christmas thing. It's always a big thing at the end of the year. So, yeah. And I think it'll be really good because in the group show, there's lots of people from all sorts of different backgrounds, and they'll bring all their people, and so I hope you can come.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. We'll cut it there. But I think another one good question that I wanted to ask you is like I love how you spoke about the uni students before, and a good question that I wanted to ask is like, what's your dream for like a younger PNG kid who like wants to, I guess, draw art? or wants to get into the art space? Like, do you have any advice for them? Do you not have any advice for them, or like, what would you sort of tell them if they were interested to draw?
Well, I guess if you like drawing, there's many things you can do with that. It's not being an artist is very hard, and it's a very long road. But there's a lot of work. There's a lot of ways you can enjoy what you do without making it your that's just the only thing that I do. Like with me, making art is just that's all I do. It's probably all I know how to do now. But like there's many things you can do with that skill. There's many occupations you can get into with drawing. So I could name a few, but I think, and even painting, there's a lot of different things you could get into with that. um, I think that I just kind of kept running, and I was I just kind of just kept going. I guess like some personal and family stuff happened which kind of made me decide to keep going. um, and and then I'm just continually practicing. um, it doesn't really make my life totally stable because I'm constantly here. I'm either here or I'm PNG, and I'm back and forth, and I'm doing this. I think the next. I mean, I was going to say like I won a scholarship actually for next year, so I'll be going over to Germany to study. So for me, that's like really nice reward ticket after all everything, and I can go and sort of maybe be quiet for a year or two. Um, and so for me, this show is kind of like, okay, just you're almost there, just kind of keep pushing this stuff out, and then you can have a break. And I think that opportunity, the Samstag scholarship, is good for me, but it's also good for the boys back home as well. Um, in ways that it will uh, extend uh, their uh, their work and their work connecting with people over in Europe as well. So, um, you know, but yeah, my advice is, keep doing what you love, but also keep an open mind to, um, you know, uh, the many possibilities. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Well, there you guys go. Yuri, thank you, bro.